So you also have a math sheet in your packet labeled Unit 1, Lesson 2. So the first thing that you need to do is to print your name here at the top. And the date today is August 25th, 2020. So then you have a word problem here that says Cohen has 7 red crayons, 2 green crayons, and 4 yellow crayons. How many crayons does Cohen have all together? And there's that key word that we've had before, all together. You're combining the 7 crayons that are red with the 2 crayons that are green. And so if you draw your tens frame and you represent the 7 red crayons with dots. So we do know by having red all together, this will be adding. So there's your 7 red crayons. Next is the 2 green crayons. Okay, look, you've only got one more box to fill in 10. That tells you that it's 9. And then you're going to add 4 more. So once you fill in that last box in the 10 frame, you know you're going to have to draw another one. And you may always make sure, it's very important if it's a tens frame, to have 5 on the top and 5 on the bottom. So there's your last 4. So then it becomes easy. You don't have to start all over and count 1, 2, 3. That is really one thing we want to focus on learning this year. This box tells us that we have 10, so we're going to count up. We're not going to start all the way back at the beginning with 7. We're going to count up because we filled in and have 10, 11, 12, 13. That gives us 13. So the next thing that it asks us to do is to circle the key word in the problem above that helped achieve the operation, and that, of course, was the word altogether. All right, school starts at 8 a.m., and notice this clock does not have the numbers. So you have to realize this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It was 8 a.m., but Billy was 1 hour late for school. So that's an additional hour. So if he was late, it says label the clock face and use it to show what time Billy arrived at school. This one is not labeled with the numbers, but I do want you to do that. I do want you to label that. Was if school started at 8 and he was an hour late, then he arrived at 9. So then you have some more clocks here to label. The first one says 6. All right, when it's the hour, when you're at the beginning of the hour hand points at the number. This is the beginning of the hour. We know it's the beginning of the hour because it's 00. There's 6 hours and no minutes. So you draw your hour hand pointing at the 6. Your minute hand goes past the 12. Notice it goes past the 12 and goes to the edge because that's at the beginning of the hour. All right, so 2 o'clock. Make sure your hour hand's pointing at the 2. The minute hand needs to be pointing straight up. That's where your minute begins. And it goes past the number 12 to the edge of the clock. So there's your 2 o'clock. Next is 10. The hour hand points at the number. The minute hand goes all the way to the edge of the circle of the clock. So there's your 10 o'clock. And then 9 o'clock. Points straight at the number 9, and the hour does, and the minute hand points straight up at 00. The minute hand goes past the 12 at the edge when you're at the beginning of an hour, and 9 o'clock is the beginning of an hour. So those are those labeled on your sheet. And then let's look here. The next one is asking you to count by 10. If you have your number chart, that's all the ones at the end: 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And there you go. You fill in the missing numbers by skip counting by tens. Okay, and that's the last one.